And I was literally driving like, oh God, 60 miles a day to and from home to the office every day. And that goes back to what you said, Apple, we still got to pick up our kids from school and blah, blah, blah. And then the pandemic hit. That was the biggest blessing in the world. I mean, not everybody dying was the blessing, but the pandemic taught us a lot, and just for everyone out there in general, you saw how it proved one thing: jobs can be done from home.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to tonight's episode of You're Gonna Need a Drink for This. I am your host, Apple Daniels. I am here with my girls. You already know the drill. Say what's up, y'all.
Hello.
Hello.
We got Adrienne Necole in the building and we got Lynette in the building. So tonight we are talking broke is not sexy. Like at all, under any circumstance. No, tonight we're talking broke is not sexy. We're talking entrepreneurship. We're talking side hustles, network marketing, different ways for you to start and build a business. This is actually how all three of us met. I think I've mentioned that a few times already. And so I felt like it was important to do this episode tonight because as moms, we have so much responsibility on our hands. It's the regular house stuff, but then it's also extra things like kids' birthday parties. It's also the things where, you want to go shopping, listen, if we're talking about being sexy cost, right? It's the nails, it's the hair, it's the clothes, it's the this, it's the that. It's just going to lunch with your friends. It's having a glass. I mean, everything costs. And I think we all know that inflation, everything is sky high right now. And so tonight I wanted to focus on ways to start and build a business online to put extra money in your pocket. Or if you're that woman that says, hey, you know what? I'm tired of corporate. I want to go on my own. I want to talk about real solutions and things that we've done, mistakes we've made, everything right under the sun. And if you have a question, go ahead, drop it in the comments. Hit me on Facebook, hit me on Insta, and we will come back to it and tap into it in another episode. But I'm going to get started by talking to, which one of y'all do I want to start with tonight? I'm going to go to Lynette.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's go. What's up?
I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you because, you and I have talked about just where you are. But you did something that was really, really big. You did something that a lot of people can't do. And that is you basically took what you do or what you did for corporate and said, I'm not going to do this for them anymore. I'm going to do this on my own. Like, why am I doing this for somebody else? Why am I going through the stresses of trying to build for somebody else? I'm going to take my skill set and I'm going to start on my own. And and I know it's not easy. And I know every day is, what it is as an entrepreneur, but there's very few people that can do it. And there's very few people that are successful at it. So I know you don't want to go into full detail about exactly what it is. And I completely understand that, but just talk to us about like your process, like what made you make the decision to leave? And then where are you now with that? Like, how are you feeling about that? How's business? I mean, just give us your story.
Okay, so what I can give you, I mean, it's not like the world's best kept secret per se, and this actually might help others out there. I'm a family law paralegal, and I'm also a LDA, which is a legal document assistant, registered and bonded in Los Angeles County, and I've been doing that for quite a while, since like 2014. So what all that means is, with LDA, I can have my own clients without the supervision of an attorney. So I can do your documents, file them, whatever have you. As a paralegal, I have to have or be under the supervision of an attorney that with a bar number, a very active attorney, whatever have you. So when I started working as a paralegal, and that was a total career switch for me because I've been in the medical field for like 25 years, right? to me, it felt like I was starting from scratch because in essence, I went to law school and I was like, okay, well, the attorney I worked for, she needed help because her person was quitting, whatever. So it was like, okay, Lynette, fill in. And I didn't really know in that sense what I was doing.
Mhm,
So I literally got on the job training. Like I knew the basis, like I said, as an LDA, but I was not knee deep into it,
mhm,
as far as paralegalism. So anyway, did paralegal work in a law firm. Um, and I was literally driving like, oh God, 60 miles a day to and
mm,
from home to the office every day. And that goes back to what you said, Apple. We still got to pick up our kids from school and blah, blah, blah. And then the pandemic hit. That was the biggest blessing in the world. I mean,
okay,
not saying everybody dying was the blessing, but the pandemic taught us a lot, and just for everyone out there in general, you saw how it proved one thing: jobs can be done from home. Now granted,
mhm,
everyone
mhm,
likes to work from home, but I mean, if you essential workers were the only ones who were allowed to be in the office. Family law paralegals and family law, that's not an essential worker, you know. So we had to set up home offices and we had to do it fast. Luckily, because I had been doing what I was doing, I already had all of my office stuff, at home. Fast forward, um, after a while, things just kind of started getting real sketchy. I'll say that without saying everything, where I was working. And so, in a roundabout way, I ended up resigning. I quit because I had had enough. It'd been 5 years. It was a lot of rigmarole in the middle of it, and that was enough for me. What I learned within that portion was, although being a paralegal, I can't do it on my own without an attorney. I can freelance myself to attorneys. What I found was there are a lot of attorneys that don't have paralegals and they do work on their own. So I basically had good rapport with a lot of them. So one main one, we ended up having a discussion one day and he was like, hey, you could do some project work for me. Freelancing is new to me because I was, again, I'm Gen X. So we go to work, we do the manual labor, working from home really wasn't a thing. So I was like, okay, let me try it out. So I tried it out while I still kept my job. And I just kept on going with it. And literally, I quit my job actually December 29th. Tomorrow, it'll be a year that I quit
okay,
my job. So I've
mhm.
literally been freelancing all year this year. And I haven't looked back. Like honestly, that whole go sit in the office thing, because like at this point, I'm 46. My thing is this: I'm not jumping through fire hoops for anybody. In your
Mhm.
20s and your 30s, your biggest thing is you want to, especially back in the day, you want to impress everybody and why should you hire me and the whole nine yard and so on and so forth. But when you live in, for example, like a big city like Los Angeles, one office is not the only game in town. You have a vast array of people to choose from. And then when you're a freelance paralegal in the state of California, you have a whole state to choose from if you know what you're doing, you know. So I literally have been working from home. I literally been working from home since March of 2020 and freelancing since December 29th of 2022. Um yeah, and that's pretty much how that goes.
No,
Um
and I mean, that's a big thing. Like I said, it's a big feat for anyone to say, I'm going to go at it on my own. Yes, the
Hands down.
pandemic gave everybody a jump start, but there's a lot of us who just, when they said we're back, we were back,
we're
right?
back.
Everybody was back on the hamster wheel and doing that, doing the things that they needed to do, whatever that was. Some of us are fully remote, some of us are hybrid,
Hybrid.
just to take advantage of the opportunity and what the pandemic was. And I think we see that so often with people like, what did you do during that time? I mean, we were essentially given, myself included, like I'd be having to ask myself, like, what were you doing? Because that was the moment, right? If there ever was a moment, that was the moment for everybody to do like a total reset and make a decision on where you wanted to go, where you wanted to be, look at your life right now and go, does this work for me? Right. And to your point about, you know, being too old to be up under people or wanting to impress, I'm there. I'm there, and I realized I was there. I didn't know that I was, but I think I'm just now at the point. And it goes back to a previous conversation we were having where I said, when I'm 35, when I turned 35 and all my F's went out the window, it's kind of the same thing with this job thing. I don't want to impress you. I'm grown. Like I'm grown. I'm grown with 3 kids and I got stuff to do. I don't have time to play these games. I don't have time to boost your ego. Do you want me here to do the job or not? If you don't,
Period.
then
Exactly.
let's talk about what that looks like because I'm gonna need you to be smart about it.
Yeah.
You know what
And
I
to
mean?
your and to your point, Apple, let me also say this. Another thing that I've really have a problem with is control.
Mhm,
And I don't mean my control, I mean others' control,
mhm, mhm.
micromanaging.
That
Like a
part.
lot of things are done unnecessarily and they're only done out of control reasons or someone
Right,
trying to assert their authority.
right.
Like we understand you're the boss, this is your boss desk and your boss stapler. We all got it. But there are certain things that are just super unnecessary. Okay, Apple, I need you to do this assignment and I'm going to need you to send me what you've done in an hour. Okay, but do you literally need it in an hour or are you just trying to have a control situation, a power trip? Do
So
you
I
understand?
think because okay. So, I do this. I have sexy after kids. I have my business, but I also have a job. And
Yeah,
I think the problem for me is because I am an entrepreneur in a job, I don't operate the way that everybody else
you
does.
don't.
There's certain things that I fundamentally understand, which is as a person who has a work ethic, I'm going to come here and I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. However, I don't
Mhm.
100% need you for the reasons that you think. I need you because we got to keep the wheels turning, we got to keep the
Right.
lights on, we got to keep food in the thing. But my mindset goes, if this goes away, there's something else. Part of that
Yeah.
is my faith, but part of that is also just being an entrepreneur and understanding how to make opportunities and understanding how to create things. It's also like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go get another job and start another side hustle to supplement until I'm back in the, what I'm
In the
saying?
game.
Like I don't operate like other people who, you have these people that get in their job and they've been there 15, 20, 30 years. And if they lose it, they're going to lose their entire
It's a
mind.
wrap.
They're not going to know it. That's not how my brain operates. I more so go, okay, what's the quickest way to the cash to make this happen? I'll deal with the bigger part later, right?
Mhm.
What do I
Mhm.
have now? What can I make happen in between? And then let me go do this other plan. Whether that other plan is to go full out on a business or get another job and still continue building the other things that I'm building. So I'm gonna transition to Adrienne because I remember our first conversation. We all met in the same company, but Adrienne was on my team. And I remember I got
Mhm,
an email. I think you saw a post from me on Facebook and you
mhm.
emailed me and you were like, what's this? Da 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 da. And I was like, and I gave her the, whatever the script was, right? I ran the play.
Right.
So I run the play. And we end up talking, and I'm like, girl, we got an event coming up. It's in Denver. Come through. I got an extra, like, just get there, right? I have a room and I have the space for another person. Just get there. So Adrian hopped on the plane. I think we met at the airport. I think we like Ubered or
Mhm.
taxied,
At the airport.
whatever, to the hotel. I had never seen this woman a day in my life, had only spoken to her, over the phone and email and internet. But when we got there, it was like, sis, what? You know what I
That's
mean?
how it was. I miss those
Right,
days. That's
right, and
how it
it's the
was.
same for me and you because we met at an event that I was speaking
In
at. You
Mhm.
were on
Anaheim.
somebody else's team, and it was the same thing. But I've personally watched you both grow, but I've really watched Adrienne grow, and I have to give flowers because there's a couple things that she helped me on. But one of the main things was turning Sexy After Kids into an official business. I had I had certain things, right? Like I had my trademark and I had an EIN, and that was kind of it. And I was just kind of like, oh, yeah, I mean, it's a business, kind of whatever, whatever. And she's like, no, sis, this is how you set up your business structure. This is how you do this. You need a registered agent. I was like, what's a registered agent? She's like, no, you need blah, blah, blah. And she had an ebook and she slid it to me and she was like, you need to follow this. And that's the reason that this is even like an official business LLC, like we good, like paperwork
Oh,
good. I
nice.
mean, they changing
Hey,
the LLC thing now. I'm gonna get the
iron
information. We're gonna
sharpens iron, man.
talk about the new thing you need to file, but but she's the reason that it went from just being kind of this thing that I do online outside of having a trademark so people wouldn't steal my idea to an actual business, right? That I can put things under. And now I have a business bank account. And now you know what I mean? Like certified. Like, no, I'm a real, I'm
Yeah.
a real boss.
Right, right.
Like I'm a real boss. Quit playing with me, right? No, but Adrienne, I'm gonna let you tell your own story. Um, where you started, where you are, what you're doing, and let's kind of go into that.
Well, first I want to say congratulations to Lynette for stepping out there on faith like that. From a business standpoint,
Thank
listen,
you.
you had a solution to someone's problem. That is in essence what a business is.
Hmm.
Having a
True.
solution, and that's what you have. Girl, we definitely got to talk after this because there's
Oh, for
so
sure.
much
For
opportunity
sure.
for California.
Okay.
So first that, and then Apple, sis, listen, my mouth ain't never stopped talking. I'm always, if I see an area of opportunity, I'm always process improvement. I'm like, hey, let's do this. No, you're gonna do this
Hmm.
for real. I'm going
Hmm.
to push anyone that comes around me um to be the best at whatever, right? And if you're gonna do it, do it. I got your back for whatever. As for me, I feel like I have always had an entrepreneurial mindset, even from a small adolescent. Anyone that sees this that went to school with me know that I was that girl who sold candy at school. So you can catch me with the sneaker bars, the tweaks, the Skittles, the whatever. I was selling it straight out of my locker. Started with my backpack and then into the locker. So I was that one who had all the snacks. Going from there, um, I grew up in a small town in Mississippi, so wasn't really getting in no trouble. But when I moved out here to Dallas, I also wanted to come up with other opportunities. So, me, I've always found another way to make additional income, whether it's I have a primary job and I may have a secondary, or there's something that I'm doing primary and I find some network marketing or affiliate marketing type company to subsidize some additional income because I was a single mom at the same time. So I've always had to do whatever I needed to do to stay above water. It's so funny because I remember being 23, fresh out here in Texas, still young, not knowing anybody, and making my first six figure on my side hustle, right? Me and my mate had a club together and we threw parties here in the Metroplex. And I didn't realize that we had made six figures until the person who we were partnering with, it all became time to do taxes. And they were like, well, we split everything 50-50. And they had made six. And I'm like, well, oh, this what it feel like to make six figures? Because I
Hmm.
don't feel
Hmm.
like I made six figures. So in my mind, I'm like, well, okay, I'm always doing something, doing multiple things. So I've always still kept my corporate gig along the way. So I'm like, okay, I need to make six in the corporate, and I need to make six over in whatever other opportunities I
Hmm.
got going on. So that has always been my mindset because people think, oh, I want to make six figures. Let me tell you, the taxes are coming. You
Yes,
better
they
be
are.
prepared
Yes, they are.
to pay taxes on those six figures that you keep asking for, right? So yeah, I've always had that entrepreneurial mindset. Always have multiple things going, and hopefully before tonight is over, I'll be able to share some quick tips with our listeners on how to quickly come up with small ways, because there are small ways to make some money.
That's the thing. There are a lot of small ways, and I think at times we overthink this, right? Or when you think about like, oh, what's a quick side hustle? We automatically shift towards network marketing, right? And I know that network marketing gets a bad rap, but I'm gonna be honest, and y'all are my witnesses. You both are
Right.
my witnesses. I'm gonna be honest. I'm in that percentage of people who did very well in network marketing. training, speaking on stages, leading teams, the whole nine. You have to treat that like you would treat any other business. And I think that's where the disconnect is, right? I think we're used to when you learn about an opportunity, it's generally from somebody who's trying to make a quick buck, right? So they're like, oh, I just need you to join my team and pay this little amount so that when you do that, I get a commission off of that. And they don't really have anywhere to put you, right? They may be so far down the line from their leadership that there's nowhere to put you. Or depending on the company that you join, it's a more traditional company, right? And so they don't have a lot of the online things that would speed up the process. What they have is go talk to you, because they all tell you the same thing. Make your hot list, your 100 friends and family, call everybody you know. They give you some generic posts to put on Facebook and they call that social media marketing, and it's not. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying those things are bad, and I'm not even talking about those people because everybody has to get it how they do. However, I think what we all know, what we all experienced is that it takes more than that. You have to literally brand yourself and treat the company as an extension of you. So you're not joining this company, you're joining me. And I sell this. So if I'm in a makeup company, right? Granted, self-plug, right? Got my own line. But if I was to take my lip gloss and market that out to somebody, then you're not selling Kissable by Sexy After Kids. You're selling yourself. And what I would want to see is, girl, this lip gloss does blah, blah, blah. And this lip gloss is whoop, whoop, whoop. And when I wear this, this is how I feel, right? I wouldn't want to see, oh, let me call all the girls I know and see if they need some more lip gloss because they can run down to the store and get that. What's the difference? Right? I mean, you have to be very specific in how you brand and define yourself. So network marketing is definitely one of those quick ways. And I think it's again, depending on who you're talking to and the experiences that you've had, I believe, me personally, that it's a great gateway. I don't know it's where I feel like somebody needs to stay. I feel like you take the skills you learn from that, and then you go do something else. You also mentioned affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is great because, again, if we're thinking about, I dropped the lip gloss. If we're thinking about the lip gloss, right, as an example, or your phone as an example, oh, my phone does this and this and that, and it's whoop, whoop, whoop. You just affiliated for your phone company right then. Why do you not have a link to that? Why do you not have something that says, hey, I'm using this mic for my podcasting, right? I'm going to take that link and I bought this on Amazon. I'm take the link and throw it in my Amazon store, right? And now when somebody else is watching this episode and they go, and no, these are not big money makers, right? But every little bit when you're on your journey of entrepreneurship or when you're creating a side hustle or when you're starting, all of it counts. All of it counts, all of it adds to something. And so you have to set your mind, you have to start thinking about every little thing that I do. I'm either marketing for somebody else or I'm marketing for myself. And if I'm marketing for somebody else, unless I'm doing it out of the kindness of my heart because I just really love you or I just really love this product, because not every product is going to have an affiliate link. But if I'm marketing for somebody else, then how do I, right, get something on the back end? I just told everybody to go see this movie. Does Regal, does, whatever movie company, Century, do they have an affiliate link where I can write an article about this movie, or does Fandango have one, and send somebody to Fandango and get 10% off the sale of this ticket?
Right.
Yeah.
What's in it for me?
You know what I mean? So for me, those are some of the smaller ways. I do have a list as well. Let's talk about the branding aspect. How do y'all feel about where we are in the state of how people are branding themselves online? I had a conversation this morning with someone and she was like, sis, so she was also in the company that we were in. She's like, sis, I see these people online and I could just kick myself because the stuff that they're teaching, it's not rocket science. It's stuff we learned 10, 12, 13 years ago.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to
Mhm.
figure out why I haven't capitalized on this, right? And made the money. But what do y'all feel about the state of where things are right now and the shift in online business? I mean, if you feel anything at all, and I'll let either one of y'all take it.
I guess for me, so again, it goes back to what you take what you want out of network marketing, right? Like you took what you took out of it. I took something different out of it. Excuse me. I met a lot of people. I met a lot of people with a lot of knowledge. So although we were doing what we did, I suck at marketing. I'm not that person, but within that, I learned little things here and there, like going to events. I learned how to build websites. I learned how to do coding. I learned how to, like, a lot of just the little things that either most people either would kind of take for granted or pay someone else to do. Like, I learned a substantial amount of things from that. So to be honest, as for what people are doing today, it's true. This is stuff that we were doing, like you said, 10, 11, 12, 13 years ago, before anyone was even doing anything with it, when it was not even, it wasn't even new. But I also noticed that, especially since the pandemic, everybody's kind of looking the same. Everyone is starting to sound robotic, and everyone sounds the same. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think that we got something a little bit different out of our network marketing. And because we did it so early on, you know what I mean? We moved differently. And I'm not saying that to say that there aren't some amazing people out there who are just doing this amazing, branding or whatever have you. But from what I've seen with some, it's very robotic and it's very crap. Like everybody, perfect example, I brand, I brand t-shirts, right? So I'm going to put it on my social media platforms. These are my t-shirts, blah, 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 blah. Buy them. I only have 5 left. Get the hell out of here. No, you don't.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Or I'm selling this course. I'm going to teach everybody how to write in cursive. I only have 5 spots left. No, you don't. Or maybe that's just me, because again, we came from that life, and that is when it all kind of started, but now everybody's doing it, so it's kind of like, dude, no you don't.
Well, I think the thing about that though is that it works, right? Like we know it because we've done it for
Right.
years. So we understand there's probably not 5 left. Could
Right.
be,
Mhm.
probably not. We understand that the timer could be real, probably not.
Right.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like we get that, but because we've done marketing for so long, I've created my own funnels. I've used that tactic, so I understand what that is. In terms of everyone still or everyone looking alike, do you feel like that's the ebbs and flows of business though? Because I remember a time when we all kind of looked alike in that particular, like in this sector of leaders, right? The ones I'm thinking of, we all use the same person for our flyers. We all use pretty much the same person to run our solo ads and our campaigns and our this and our that. And so it did kind of start after
Okay.
a while, the messages, the scripts.
But
Isn't that kind of the ebbs and flows?
Mhm.
but Apple, wait. So I'm gonna go with yes, but no. And I'm gonna tell you
Okay.
why. That's like taking, and I'm not gonna mention any brands here, but that's like taking um the maker of your computer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's like
Mhm.
taking 10 people, for example, who work for that company, right?
Mm-hmm.
That computer company, and going out there and posting the same stuff regarding this particular computer.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It doesn't change who the top people of that company are. It doesn't change who the people are who are working for or with said company.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So, because that's not the case here, and I'm pretty sure that's not what the message that they're trying to convey, it just looks weird. But I also understand what you're saying, because we didn't look crazy like that. We look like the computer company, if you will, and the people of that computer company. On top of the fact that we were doing this before it was actually a thing. Because if you really think about it, when we were doing it, the marketing that came before us, the MLMs, the pyramid schemes, you
Mhm.
know, sell a vacuum, get people on your thing, Amway or Amco or whomever, you know what I'm saying? The little whatever's from back in the 80s and all that stuff. We came from we kind of started in a different era, and we
Mhm.
started in the very beginning of it. So it's not
Mhm.
like people knew exactly what was going on unless you were involved in something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because now we had technology, we had all kinds of stuff. There was no walking door to door with a vacuum in your hand. There was
Mhm.
no cold calling and knocking on door to door businesses talking about, hi, would you like to buy this vacuum? Do you
Mhm.
understand? So we kind of came, it was like we were like the evolution, if you will, to a degree of network marketing, especially with at the time that we were doing it. Because you got to understand, we started doing this, what was it, 2011, 12, 13, actually before that, 10.
I started in '06.
Okay, so then you got to understand computers and internet and stuff is like in mainstream is not really that old. You got to figure. I was in high
Mhm.
school in like the 90s. You know, we didn't have computers. I learned how to type in typing class on a computer. I mean, on a typewriter.
Mhm.
When I had my first computer class in like 90 something, it was on like the little IBM. I mean, it wasn't like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like most people didn't, this was dial-up time. So we literally barely passed that.
Man,
So we
that dial-up was crazy. Don't let somebody pick up the phone, the house
don't
phone, and
be
your
on
whole connection go. You
either
be in a you
or.
would be in a
AOL.
AOL, you be in an
Yes.
AOL chat room with the A sex location. You just somebody
And
pick
don't
up
be
the phone
downloading something,
and you
ain't
can't ever
nothing
find that
happening.
person again, boy. Shout out to my AOL chat room boo. Hey boo.
Period.
Hello. Yahoo
Right.
chat.
And then that exactly. So we literally came, we were kind of on the cusp of that. You know what I'm saying? That was pretty much an ending point, or it had ended
Right.
just a couple of years prior to that. So now we're doing marketing with technology. We're
Right.
learning how to code before nowadays everybody's talking about, oh, you could learn to code. We were coding back then and didn't even
Mhm.
know
Mhm.
we were coding. We were just learning it and doing it, right? And then later on, you're like, oh shit, I know how to code. You know, I know how to build this. I know how to, throw in a page here or whatever there. So it's, to me, it's kind of apples and oranges. It's all evolution, but it's apples and oranges. And I still kind of feel that not everyone, but a lot of people nowadays they just look alike, and everybody's trying to get rich quick. So they're just throwing stuff out there. And it's like, you can't, I mean, you know what I mean? You can't do that because there's too many
What
people the exact
what do
same.
you feel
Too many
about that,
people do
Adrienne?
that.
What are your thoughts?
Well, one thing I wanted to point out that Lynette said was she learned things like coding and building websites and things like that, right? Well, if you think about the grand scheme of things, you actually, if that was something you wanted to do, because I saw other people in some of the businesses I have been in pick up other skills and things like that, and they went on to take that skill and made it an additional business on the side, right? Say you and I are in the business together, and in one business together, you need a website done. Well, I know how to do websites. Well, guess what? I'm going to market to you to say, hey, I will build your website for you for XYZ amount of money. I'll charge you a little lower than what's the going rate out there.
Mhm.
So that was another way of making multiple streams of income off of one thing. For example, myself, one of my businesses, I was in credit repair for a while, right? So I look at that and I say, okay, how can I take that one business and and market and do it where I'm making multiple streams of income off of this one opportunity path, and I'm marketing different things to the people, right? So I may market a credit card, for example. Well, on that credit card, to fix their credit, you need to build credit, right? So I may say, okay, you get this card. Well, on the backside, I have an affiliate connected to that card. Uh, uh, so I'm also going to get a kickback from that as well. So now I have you as a customer. I have an affiliate account over here. So now I have multiple streams of income. Now that was my way. And multiple people do it. I know that's what they do, right? That's their way of marketing. Apple, you asked the question about branding. the brands are starting to look the same from my eyes because now everyone has now changed their branding into more of a sexy because sex sells, right? So you got
Mhm.
the ladies who they show you the lifestyle, the luxury lifestyle, the glam of what having the money looks like, right?
Mhm.
And people are latching on to that because those people, their brand is sexy and it looks like they're making these type of things, not knowing
Mhm,
that some of that stuff could be rented, right? But it's
mhm,
their way of branding and it's how their brand looks. So you're going to go and you're going to probably sway towards that more sexier pretty brand than that brand that's really gonna be right there and hold your hand. Now that's what I've been seeing from a branding standpoint. Um, of how people are branding themselves and how things are starting to look the same. But when you even look on your social media, most times, most of the brands, you're going to see something sexy or outrageous um, on come across your screen. I mean, that's just what I see. I don't know about you all, but could be the people I
So
follow. I don't know.
I think some of it is a marketing ploy. I think some of it is necessary, right? So when you think about branding and you talk about what a brand looks like, because y'all know, like that's my jam. You give me an idea, and I'm gonna give you. You give me an idea in an hour, I'm gonna come up with a plan for you. You know what I
mhm,
mean? I have still, and I follow this still, what I call dynamic brand formula, right? It's what is your online persona, right? Who do you want to be online? What does that look like for you? Defining your niche. Who's your target audience? Who are you talking to? What do they look like? What do they like? What are they interested in? How do they feel? And then you take that and then you define like what social media platforms you need to speak to them. Because I'm a firm believer in you don't need everything. Now, am I on everything? I have accounts with everything, but I'm not on everything, right? I have certain things that I use. Like I understand the audience on my Facebook. I cannot change this audience to save my life. It will always be family, friends. And even though I have so many followers on it, it's because I just happen to have a couple of posts that go viral, but those people don't really interact with me. Like out of all of those followers, I probably got about 20 to 30 that I see rotate in and out of like 26,000. You know what I mean? That's not really a lot.
Hmm.
Instagram, I understand, is the aesthetics and I love it for my quotes and I can put my reels on it. And, with Facebook and Insta being connected, there's a little bit of cash that comes from that. So that's a benefit to me using it, right? TikTok, I really haven't figured that out yet, but I'm there, right? And then we have YouTube for long form content, stuff like this, podcasting, videos where I want to do training. So you have to ask yourself first, who do I want to be online? Who am I talking to? And then where are those people at? Right. And I think that's the problem. Right now, everybody seems to be talking to everyone as
mhm,
opposed to looking at who do I want to speak to? Like from a business aspect, who's really listening to me? Not even who do I want to speak to, who's listening to me?
mhm,
Because the other aspect of that is you may say my target audience is like, okay, let's take my own brand. I may say my target audience is moms. That is so broad. Like that is such a
mhm,
broad thing to say. What does she look like? What's her income like? Does she is she single mom? Is she married? Is she divorced? How many kids does she have? Is she a one kid parent? Is she a three kid parent? Is she a 10 kid parent? Like, what does it look like, right, for her? Does she work? Does she work and have a business? Is she interested in entrepreneurship? There's going to be a lot of moms who watch this episode. They're not going to care nothing about what we're talking about. They're going to go skip right past this and go right to the dating episode because that's where they are in their life. And that's perfectly fine, but this episode isn't for those people, right? I
mhm,
think that's the beauty also of a podcast. You can kind of branch out and do things. But ultimately, when it comes to Sexy After Kids and defining like the fundamental audience, who am I speaking to, right? And understanding that, then you can say, well, where do these people live online? And
mhm,
what kind of messages do they need? And how do they consume content? Do they consume content in the form of video or do they not have time? right? I used to be a person, I didn't consume content in the form of video because I was at work. I couldn't really listen. I'm doing things, I'm moving all the time. Now that I'm remote, right? I have a job, but I'm remote. It's nothing for me to put on YouTube and play a video. I actually prefer it because I don't have time to sit down and read a long blog post. It's not
Mhm.
happening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the time. Like I need to be able to be listening and moving and doing all the different things. So you have to understand where your people are. I think once you do that, in terms of branding, you can start to separate yourself from other people because then you understand what you're supposed to be doing. But if everybody says, I'm going to live on this platform and I'm going to chase this really broad group of people, which is kind of what seems to be happening, then that's when you all start to look alike. That's when no one else has a USP, a unique selling proposition. What
Mhm.
makes me different from you? Adrienne and I both have kind of dabbled in the weight loss realm. We both dabbled in credit. She went way farther than me. She actually helped me with a couple of things personally. Like, however, we're two moms, we're two Black women, we dabble in this space, we've been in the same companies, we've been in the same industries. What does that look like, right, for each of us? But here's the thing, Adrienne's audience, and I've been in her groups and she's been in mine, and my audience and their individual needs are so different. They're
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
vastly different. There's never been a need for, I mean, we all close, so we don't really operate like this, but there's never a need for a competition because we don't even go in the same realm. Like
Yeah.
her
Right.
moms look totally different from my moms. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like what I'm doing and how I'm marketing and my voice and my this and my, like, we're totally different, even though we kind of cross lanes, right, in
Right.
the same realm. And that's okay. And I think when you understand that, then you can start to set yourself apart from the competition. And that's one of the things that I first learned, even in joining an MLM. Like I got on and a leader that we all know, she's talking about branding and blogging herself and doing this. And I was like, what is that?
Right.
Right? The first time I understood it does not matter, even if it's my own company, because Apple Daniels and Sexy After Kids are two totally different things.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
They are. We're together, but we're not. It's mine, but this is me. Right? So you might see Apple, I have Sexy After Kids, but I'm also a public notary. But I also am, now I just got my certificate for body contouring, but I'm going to funnel that into Sexy After Kids. But if I didn't and it stood on its own, then that would be
Right.
something else I would do. Right? So Apple has
Mhm.
these things, and I brand myself outside of my business. So even if I ever decided I don't want to do Sexy After Kids anymore, which will never happen, but let's say I did, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Apple Daniels can take herself and go do other things. And because I've branded myself, I have confidence that my audience will understand and not be confused and know, and it's gonna be okay, right? In the end.
Right.
Um, I want to start getting into solutions and tips. I think we're going to probably do a couple of these, you know, episodes where we talk about entrepreneurship because we can go on and on and on about this. Like I can
Mm-hmm.
talk about
Mm-hmm.
this for days. But I want to talk about, I want to go into Adrienne's tips. And then I also want to drop just, I have some ideas that I want to present for people who may say, hey, I want to start a business, but I'm not really sure what that looks like. What does that look like for me? Or what type of business do I start? So I'm going to go with Adrienne's tips, and then we'll close it out with kind of just finishing, some of the ideas for people who want to start a business. Go ahead, Adrienne.
Okay. So some of the tips, well, one, you kind of mentioned one of them already, which was the Amazon, right? Most people, first place when we go looking for stuff, we do Amazon. So I would encourage any and everyone to set up an Amazon affiliate account, because if you are going to send somebody a link You just gave them somebody else's link. You went and found a product. That one product is probably on that on Amazon 12 different times, 12 different people links, and you're just sharing one. You have an opportunity to do that for yourself. So I would tell everyone, go ahead and do that. Another thing I mentioned about credit cards, right? Um, Capital One. Capital One is a great card for building. They have also a lot of different uh, suite of products, from cars to mortgages to all different things. I would encourage people, if you have a Capital One card, guess what? Capital One has a referral link associated with your card. And every time you put your referral link out there, and someone gets a card off of your referral link, you get, um, it depends on the card. It could be anywhere from $50 to $100. Well, guess what? That applies towards your credit card account. You won't have a bill.
It,
You'll
and
get a credit.
let me tell you how you just put me on game again. Because let me tell you how Capital One owns me. 3 credit cards and an auto loan. I tell Capital One, no. First of all, don't ask me. I don't want nothing else from y'all. Like,
Girl,
nothing.
you better go into
Nothing.
credit cards and get that referral link and
Right,
whichever
and get
one you
that
want to
referral.
pay.
That's what I'm saying. It be the stuff, like even for us, it be the stuff that you don't think about because you're just moving throughout your daily process. Like you not even
Yeah.
considering like, oh, my credit card company, who is also my car company.
Hmm.
Hello, you
They have
know?
referral links, and you get the
Mm-hmm.
kickback off of it. I remember at one point on one of my Capital One cards, I had got that balance up pretty high. I was like, whoo, I don't want to pay this. How can I get this down without me having to pay for it? So I was
Mm-hmm.
referring it out to people. I was like, hey, family and friends. I was people who I know who need a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, girl, you need to get a card. Let me tell you, here's how you build, because I already had that other credit background too. So
Mm-hmm.
I built that trust, my brand, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I built that trust with people, and so I'm like, hey, get this card, and every time they would get that card, that $100 credit would apply towards my card. So
And
I
I was
got
gonna
that
say,
balance down.
with you having that credit background, that's playing to your audience, right? So
Correct.
it's not just, again, it's not just the money that you need, but you're also, I'm sure, because you're coaching and you're counseling and you're offering, you're like, hey, you're trying to rebuild your credit. This is a good
Here.
starter card. This is what you do. So since
Yep.
I'm referring this starter card, right, as part of my credit building program, right?
Yep.
So now it's 2 sources of income. It's income on my credit building program, right, that I'm getting
Yep.
for advising you. But now everything that I offer within that program, I'm getting affiliate commission from. So now I'm doing it
Yeah.
twofold. And on top of that, because you're good, because I know you're good, because you're good, you're now getting results. So it's not like
Right.
you're like, oh, just do this because I want you to get more credit so I can get more money. Like you're not leading people down a dark path. I
Because
want
I'm
to clarify
educating them
that.
along the way, right?
Yeah, I want to
It's
clarify that
it's a
because we
win-win for
start
both
talking
of
about
us.
credit cards. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a win-win for
Exactly.
both of us. So you're
Hmm.
winning, you're building because you have a goal that you're trying to acquire, and I have a goal at the same time. So really,
Hmm.
we're helping each other. So that's
Hmm.
one of the ways. And then something else, like for example, there's this one company I really want to tell everybody about their jeans. I swear I do, because I caught their deal. I didn't believe it. They kept coming up on my social media, and I was like, ain't no way them jeans gonna fit like that. So I ordered them. I took a chance. I didn't order one pair. I ordered like 8 pair off the very first try because they
Hmm.
were on sale, and I know the regular price, and I was like, ugh. And now that I've gotten them, I've tried them on, they fit like a glove. First thing I did, I went to their website, and I'm telling you, telling everybody this. Wherever you buy something all the time, scroll all the way down to the bottom of their website. and always look to see if there's a hyperlink that says referral, affiliate,
Mm-hmm.
partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Always look down at the bottom, and then if there is one, sign up for that partnership.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
now what's going to happen, you're just going to be living your everyday life, and you're going to be saying, "Oh, I got these jeans," or somebody going to see something that you wore. You may post a picture on social media and somebody say, "Oh, where you get those shoes from?" I'm waiting on somebody to ask where I just got those cowboy boots I just posted the other day, because by y'all, I'm gonna put that link on them. I've already got the
Mm-hmm.
affiliate link ready. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what you do. You prepare yourself, because you're just doing your normal day to day. But if you're gonna be promoting something, then you need to be getting a kickback on that, because more than
One.
likely there is an opportunity there. You just don't know, and that's affiliate marketing.
Mm-hmm.
People confuse affiliate marketing with network marketing
They do.
all the time,
It's
and
not the
those
same.
two are not the same.
Yeah.
So those are some quick ways. Other quick ways. Don't be afraid of DoorDash. Don't be afraid of Uber. I used to DoorDash. Me and my daughter, we used to do it. And what we would do is on the weekend I would take her with me. We would DoorDash, and I say, hey, every cash tip we get, because people would give cash tips. Every cash tip is
Mhm.
yours, and we'll just go do a couple of hours, and I may make 150. We'll do 2 3 hours. We'll make 150. I had a goal. We're gonna make 150 to 175, and then we're going back in. If we don't make
Mhm.
that, then but we pretty much made that every time. And it
Mhm.
was us, our bonding time. We riding around the city. I'm trying to teach her, different areas. But guess what? That was another source of income. That was a quick way to make some money, and I don't have anybody really just standing over my shoulder.
Let me
Another way.
say something else about that real quick though, is you're also showing your daughter entrepreneurship. So I know when I first
Mhm.
got divorced, um, so again, going back to what I said earlier about losing jobs, when I first got divorced, I 2 months later, so he moves out, 2 months later, I lose my job. So
Oh.
in the process of a divorce, now one person household, we are clearly beefing. So it ain't no, oh,
Uh-huh.
can you
Uh-huh.
just, none of that, right? And having to figure out how to supplement income, I did Postmates. I didn't qualify for DoorDash, and I can't quite remember why, but I did Postmates and I did Amazon Flex, and I was hustling. Like I was up on them blocks doing them
That
Amazon
entrepreneurial
packages,
mindset kicked in.
delivering Amazon, like me, feminine, don't want to lift nothing with the nails, lifting these boxes, getting them to people's doors, driving out to these rural areas, all kind of crazy situations, rain, sleet, snow, the whole nine, just out there, right, doing packages. And I remember one weekend it was my weekend with the kids. And so remember, we're new to this thing because we're just now separating. And I put all three, because they were much smaller at the time, and I had a Nissan
Mhm.
Altima. I didn't even have my truck that I have now. I had an Altima. I had all three kids in the back seat. I had packages all stacked in the trunk. I had packages stacked at their feet, and I had packages in the front of the car. And we rode around that city. And I hopped out the car and did the packages, and the kids was in the car and they were riding with me. And the thing about that was, for me, at the time I had to bring them, right? It was a necessity. But
Right.
also I think on some level it's showing them you got to get out here and get it. Like your situation is temporary, but while you're going through that temporary transition, you got to get out here and get it. You can't have no pride. Like you can't, when you got kids and you got stuff to do, you can't have no pride. I was out there delivering, honey. I
Not
didn't
at
care.
all.
I didn't care.
Not at
I'm
all.
out here. I'm on the block because that's what they call them. They call them blocks, right? So when you do an Amazon like thing, you had the app. This before they had the trucks, and everybody was just doing it in their cars. And so you have these blocks, and so you had your, like, I think it was like a 2 hour block was like, I don't remember the exact amounts, but you had blocks, and the bigger ones were
Uh-huh.
worth more money. So the big 4 hour ones are one, and then don't mess around and get 2 4 hour blocks, and you'd have made like $200, in 8 hours or whatever, which ain't a lot of money. But like when you're in that mindset and you just, what I'm saying, you hustling, you're not really thinking about it. But yeah, girl, I used to be out there on the block.
People don't realize. So let's say, for example, and a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I need to make this extra money, or I need to find ways to make extra money." Well, if you don't write it down and put it on paper, or and see what it is you need to do, like for example, say you say, "I want to do this little side hustle, and I want to make at least $25 a day," and that's just, I'm just keeping it plain. $25 a day, 5 days a week. Well, that's $125 for the week,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're just doing 5 days. I need to make $25 for at least 5 of the 7 days a week. That's $125. And for the month, that's $500,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's a bill. That's a few bills for some people. That's a car note. That's a daycare bill. That's a something, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
I was given a list of some things you could do. Let me tell you something else. Surveys. You could make that $25 off of surveys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Studies. All these areas have studies that they pay for people to do, and you can do an online study, or now that during COVID it shut down the in-person studies, but the in-person studies are now open. I have a place here in the metroplex that calls me all the time. We got these surveys for we're looking for people who use this type of detergent. Oh, I use that type of detergent. They may ask you two or three more questions, and you may have to come in. You make 150. You come in for 2 hours. You actually just made your whole week go in one day, right? So I wouldn't slip on that. And then another way, kind of like how Lynette did, she took something she learned in her corporate space and she turned it as a solution for someone else, which made it a business, because that's what a business is. I'm selling you, I'm creating a solution to your problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say there's something you do at work. You may, we'll say one of my old roles. I used to write process documents, right? So in my mind, I know how to write a process document. So guess what? Market that skill to other people. Market that cuz I do. That's one of my businesses. I my brand is I get it. It's my business to get in your business with other
Mm-hmm.
small business owners, right? So take whatever skill you have learned in your own corporate space, cuz you've learned something from that. Take that one small thing and offer it out to other people. That's just to name a few. I do have plenty of others, but I know Apple, you mentioned you wanted to share some as well. And oh, one other one. This is my favorite one. An ebook. Apple mentioned that I had an ebook that I slid her way, right? A ebook. Make a quick ebook. Let that sucker sell 10, $15. I even have some letters that I sell, some templates I sell like $2, $5. Those little things add up. If you sell, because people will pay you that $2, that $5, because they don't really feel like they missing a whole bunch with that versus that $50 or that $500, right? Especially knowing your audience, who your followers are, because it may not be. You may not have a large following. It may be like Apple said, she can't shake her following, and it may be your friends and your family. So they'll buy some. They'll give $2. They'll give $5. So those are some quick ways to make a book.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and as we know, the biggest thing is that you have to just do it. I don't want people to feel like these are things that are complicated, because they're not. It's literally the world is your oyster. And we can all say that from experience. Whatever it is that you want to do, you just start. And I think that's the hardest part, right? Is understanding
Mhm.
that The moment you say go, it's go time, right? You can't be worried about what's going to happen and are they going to like me and are they going to who cares? Who cares? And to be honest, don't market to your friends and family anyway. Like I don't even talk to them when I'm getting ready to do stuff. Now these two, yes, because well, you know, we
It was like,
all
what's up? What we doing?
yeah, we in that
Right.
room. But like the others, no. I mean, I might be like, oh yeah, I'm finna do blah blah blah. And they'll be like, we support you, sis. And they'll give me a share. But again, understanding your audience. They'll come around lately. I remember when we were in that one company, no one, I mean, and I went to them, oh, it's just $25 to start. $25.
Mhm.
It's just $25 to start. All you got to do was blah, blah, blah. Da, 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 da. Oh, yeah, maybe. No, I'm not interested. And then, because remember, this is back when we used to show our money and we used to show them
Yeah.
commission emails, and the company encouraged us to do that, right? So
Mhm.
then I started getting 25, 25. Then people were buying the next product. So I'm getting $100 a pop, 100, right? And then the next product. So now I'm getting, I think it was like 500 a pop, right? And
Mhm.
then I start getting those $3,000, $5,000 commissions back to back to
Mm-hmm.
back to back to back. And I'll never forget my first like $6,000 or $7,000 day. And I posted it. Now can't stop my phone from ringing. What's that online thing you doing? How do you blog online? How do you da 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 da? So you can't
Oh,
worry
now you
about
want to do
the people, right, that you know. You really have to market to the people that you don't know. You would be surprised. They're going to be your best buyers. I won't
it.
say your biggest supporters because you will have family and friends who just love you and they love what you do and they're going to share it and whatever. But you'll find the most success first with the people that you don't know, the people who are
True.
outside of your circle. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like outside in, right? And then you kind of can decide how you want to move and shape and bring those people. Because I'm the kind of person that's like, now I'll look at family and friends and be like, you ain't gonna do this. No. Sis, just give me your no. Why not? Because you're not gonna do it. Because you're not gonna
Because I
do
can't
it.
get my
You're not
time
gonna
back.
listen. Right. I'm not about to waste my time with you. You need to take what you know and go do that over there. But I've also been in business long enough to where I don't feel the pressure to do. There was a time where it just would have been like, okay, I'm just glad to have somebody. I don't feel like that now.
Mhm.
Right. So I am speaking admittedly from a different mindset, but as someone with experience, I'm also saying, listen, learn from what I didn't do back then. Go outside first and then come inside. You will save yourself a lot of time, a lot of frustration, and you'll probably see success a lot faster, which will boost your confidence. When you make that first sale or you get that first affiliate commission or you get that, like it does something to you and you go, oh my God, this does work. How do I duplicate it? How do I rinse and repeat? Right. And then you rinse and repeat and it works. And you go, oh my God, okay, now how do I scale it? How do I triple it? How do I 10x this? Right? How do I
Mm-hmm.
do this over and over and over and over again? And then you go, how do I automate it? And when you start automating it
It's
and
over.
That's game change.
you
It's
wake
over.
up and it be like you got a commission for blah blah blah, or like somebody sends you an invoice, like we could just tap into like Facebook. I'll just be posting. I don't even put no effort into Facebook. There are other things, this and other areas, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
lip gloss and the whatever, where I actually put effort into, but I don't put effort into Facebook. I just post and whatever happens kind of happens. And like clockwork, every month, it doesn't matter if it's a lot or a little, I get that meta invoice that's like, hey, you just made a little commission. But that takes time, right? It
Right.
takes you, well, I don't know. See, now they just offering it to anybody because I was seeing people going, engagement posts,
Right.
engage with this post for me, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I even made a post about that. I was like, y'all got to cut that out because I've lost channels, I've lost social platforms, I've lost
Woo.
stuff, like building stuff and then losing it completely because you violated a community guideline because you did something weird, right? on a post, or you came off very spammy, or you were in people's DMs, and there's certain things you just cannot do.
Well,
And
I had to start deleting that because what was weird, just to tell you just something that just happened, story time. I was on Instagram and I did the create the reel and I let it select the music for me, right? So it said this was the suggested music, woo woo woo. So I then do the suggested music, get the reel set up, get it posted on IG. Well, I use this other app that pulls down reels for me. And so I pulled it down so that it doesn't have the logos on it. So I use
mhm,
that app. Went and uploaded it on the Blue app, which
mhm,
they're owned by the same company.
mhm,
Went on the Blue app, they flagged me. They cut my music. I got deemed saying that it wasn't available in certain regions. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So I disputed it. I'm like, well, your other company, that
mhm,
other brand that's named, I mean, that's a part of your top brand is the one that
mhm,
suggested that music on that
mhm.
reel. So I don't understand why you, Mr. Blue
We'll
app.
we'll we'll
Yeah.
talk about it offline. I get that a
So
lot.
yeah.
Sometimes I delete them all together. Sometimes I dispute it, and there's a certain way that I frame the conversation.
Hmm.
Sometimes they go, "We're just not going to monetize it," and that's fine because everything that
I
I do
want
on
it.
that app isn't necessarily for monetization, right? There's some things that are, and then but there's a lot of things that just aren't because after years and years and years of dealing with them, I don't really care, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like if you pay me, cool. If you don't, cool. Like I'm not gonna sit here and go back and forth with y'all about
Right.
stuff that you offer this sound,
Hmm.
and now you're flagging me, or you're flagging me like this morning. I got it was a video from 2020. What? What are we doing? Right?
Yeah.
So listen, I'm not going to split hairs
Give
with
me-
them about that. So let me get into some of my tips because I don't want us to run too long. I know that you mentioned some of this. I really want to stress small business consulting because everybody has a skill. How do I know you have a skill? Because you probably have a job. So, what do you do for that job? And can you do the thing that you do for that job for other people, like Lynette did, right? Like if you do HR, if you do diversity, if you do customer service, can you train somebody else on how to do customer service? Can you go into other companies and formulate like a training program, right? And teach them how to have better customer service representatives. Like what is that skill set that you have that you know that you know that you know you have because you do it for a corporation? And can you take that into a small business, whether it's an independent person, a realtor? You build websites. Realtors need websites. Realtors need Instagram marketing. Realtors need Facebook marketing. Like insurance agents, independent preneurs need these
Mhm.
services. Can you take that to them and do consulting? Can you go into your local small franchise and do consulting on these services? I cannot stress, like, this is the easiest thing to do because you're already doing it and you probably know it like the back of your hand because you've probably been at your job. If not in that company, you've probably been in this industry for years and years and years. If you lost this job by default, you're going to go into another job in the same realm. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Even if you're a waitress, is there a way for you to go into a company and teach other waitresses how to move quicker? Can you teach efficiency?
Mhm.
Right?
Customer
Can you
service.
I just had a birthday party for my twins and we went in there and the waitress was real cool and we got to talking. And she's like, yeah, I've only been at this job for a year, but in my previous job, I worked at this company and I was a waitress there. And I'm thinking, but you're so good at what you do. Like, Like really, like you're really good at what you do. You're personable. I see you moving around to all these tables. You don't have a whole lot of help. Nobody's complaining. Nobody feels like they've been left out. You've remembered everybody's order. Like she technically could take her process, like if she knew how, or if she let me coach her, she could take her process
Yeah.
and go into another company and say, let me train your other waiters and waitresses on how to move these tables, how to clean,
Yep.
how to move, how to get them in and out, right? Food in, drinks in, people out. Everybody's happy, right? There's no reason why there's literally nothing you can't do for a small business. You're answering a problem. They have a question, you have the answer,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the answer because you do it every day. Um,
Right.
Now this one, SEO consulting. Listen, if you know how to do it, go for it. If you don't know how to do it, don't worry about it. We got other things for you to do, right? I'm not even going to
You
get
got some more
into,
options.
man, that is it's so advanced. I'm not even going to go into
Yeah.
detail or read the definitions in this, but those who know, it's kind of like if you know, you know, right?
Mhm.
Big money in SEO consulting, Google Ads, Google Analytics. If you love analytics and you love ads, and I encourage you to look up SEO, learn what it is, and then learn how you can offer that consulting to other companies. Same thing with social media consulting. Again, posting on Facebook is not social media consulting. You have to
Right.
understand the ins and outs. You have to understand engagement, analytics, different things. Very advanced conversation. But if you're somebody who happens to be good at it, or if you're somebody who your posts are consistently going viral, might be something you want to look at. Okay. Um, so e-commerce, niche market, e-commerce, retail, you pretty much can sell anything you want. You can open up a store on Shopify, whatever, and throw products in there, whatever the niche is, whatever you want to do. Um, let's see, web design, web development. We've talked about that a little bit, online blogging. Now, again, because I did this, we all did this for a very long time. Um, I don't know that people are reading blogs the way that they once were. However,
Messy blogs.
yeah. However, when I think of online blogging, I think of quick things that people need answers for. When I think of online blogging, I don't think of articles in the way that we used to do them. I
Right.
think of, I need a quick recipe, right? I need a recipe, and I'm going to go to this blog and I'm going to open up, it's going to have the recipe. And then in the recipe are
Mhm.
going to be links to the best kitchenware products, and it's going to be all these ads on the side that the person who owns the blog is getting paid for, and it's all related to what I'm looking at. So I want a recipe for easy dinner meals, you know, for families, and then inside of that is going to be all kinds of links to pots and pans and whatever else. So now you're blogging, right? And your blog is probably making money from ad content and whatever else, but then you have these links in there and you're getting paid from your affiliate links. So that's how I see blogging now. Very quick how-to things that people can get to, get the resource and get off. I don't feel like people are
Mhm.
sitting down. I don't feel like the state of the world right now is where we're sitting down and reading these long form articles. That's just not
No.
what's happening. I could
Mhm.
be
People want it
projecting.
quick. Their attention span. You gotta have so they're looking at quick videos.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll get the stats on that. I used to have them. Um, I just, again, I could be projecting because that's where I am now, but I just don't feel like people are just reading articles. I feel like it's how to's, those wiki
Mhm.
Mhm.
articles, quick stuff.
Quick.
Okay, moving on.
May not
Virtual
even be
assistant.
true, but quick.
Yeah, that part. Everything on the internet ain't use your brain. That's all I gotta say. Virtual assisting. So if you know how to help people, if you're a good assistant, if you're a good receptionist, if you know how to answer phones and run errands. Couple of places that you can go for that, like TaskRabbit, you know, some of these other websites that you can go on, and I do have a link for that.
Yeah, you do.
I do, because I use them. Couple of things that you can go on. I need
Oh,
a girl to come clean this house. I had a car accident. I ain't gonna lie, I had a car accident. I need a girl to come clean my house. And I got on TaskRabbit and I sat on my couch and she cleaned for me. And it felt weird. I felt like I kept getting up trying to help her. And she was like, if you don't sit down somewhere. And I was like, ma'am, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how to sit here and just watch you clean my house. Like,
Right.
I said I want this soft life, but I don't really know what I'm doing. Like, this feels odd. And then it was like reverse from what you think about in, like, let's take it back to like slavery times or like other, it was reversed. So then I really felt weird, right? Because I'm here and she here. And I'm sitting on the couch like, yeah, and she
like
just said, and I was like, this is odd. Sweet girl though. Definitely need to call her again. But virtual assistant, um,
Huh.
her or anybody else, you know what I mean? TaskRabbit is not just for um maids and, you know, nannies and whatever else. You can actually do virtual assistant. I've seen job listings for like running errands, different things, personal shopping. All of those are things that you can do to make some extra money. Adrienne talked a lot about affiliate marketing, so I'm not going to go into that. Remote tech support. So
yeah,
being tech support for
that's a
somebody.
good
If
one.
you're really good at tech and you understand how to navigate computers and somebody's volume went out, somebody's this don't work, somebody's that, and you know how to do that kind of stuff, tech support would be a good opportunity. Handmade craft shops. So think Etsy, right? If you're really good at
Mhm.
crocheting, if you're really good at glitter wine glasses or, you know, those DIY projects, you can start an
Cook.
Etsy store. Yeah, cups, you start an Etsy store and do that kind of stuff. App development, again, more advanced, but if you're really good in the tech space, app development will be another one. Same thing with search engine development. Now, drop shipping kind of goes into that niche store that we talked about a little bit earlier, but it's a little different. So you can open up a store, and drop shipping is basically not having inventory on hand. It basically means you set up your e-commerce platform, and when somebody places an order, your store is connected to another company who will then print the t-shirt or the cup or the hat or whatever it is. I did drop shipping, well, I have a printer now, but I did drop shipping for a lot of sexy after kids
Mhm.
stuff
Mhm.
in the very beginning. Like the t-shirt I wore on the first episode
It's just
had the
easier.
drop ship. I have a hat you guys see me wear a lot, drop ship that, right? I have a sexy after kids hoodie, drop ship that. So there are things that you can do, and the inventory is low. Now I will also say the income is lower on that, and it's lower because it costs more. So they're storing it for you, they're printing it for you. So the markup is a little bit higher per product,
Mhm.
but it's still a great way to get started, right? Again, we're not saying some of these may actually go ahead and you get right to the bag. Some of
Mhm.
these and
Mhm.
a lot of these are just going to be to get the ball rolling, to get you moving in the direction you need to move into. Online tutoring. So same thing. You can, there are companies who offer it where you can work for a company. You can also put flyers out in the neighborhood, go to kids, like you Zoom, Skype, you can do it in person. Well, we're talking online, but Zoom, Skype, whatever it is that people are using these days, you can go on there and you can um, tutor kids, you can tutor adults in certain areas, like whatever your skill set is. It kind of goes back to that consulting aspect. Whatever your skill set is, think about, can you teach somebody else how to do that? And if you can, why aren't you making money from it? So
Right.
Right. That's a
same thing
good
with,
one. US and non-US based tutoring,
right,
especially in the education space.
right.
I know a few people who do
Education
that.
is big. So think about if you
Yeah.
know like a foreign language, or if you're really good at teaching English to
Correct.
people who are coming in. Like that is a huge market. I don't have the
Mhm.
patience, right? Not my skill set. But I think that for someone who does, that's a great market to be in. Same thing with online training. A little bit different because again, you can build digital courses. So there are other sites, and I'll put some links down there. There are other sites where you can build a course and you can put that course on that platform, right? And so by default, when people are putting in these search terms, they'll find your course, they'll buy it. If you're marketing on that, your description and everything is good enough, they'll buy those courses and then you make some income. Or you can go it your own way, create a digital course, and then you got to understand funnels and building and,
Right.
all the complicated stuff. So either way, still a great way to make money. I've made a lot of money on digital courses over the years, like a lot. And it's a great method. Now, I will say you got to make sure that what you're selling is going to get the person a result. Don't create a course that's not going to help nobody. Like if you're going to do it, make sure it's really going to help people. They're really going to get results. Like don't. Like I
You
can't
see
even
it
I
all
can't
the
even get the word
time.
out. Like, just don't.
Let
Whatever
me
it
take your
is,
course and put my label on it. That's what people will do. You
man,
can't
don't do
help it.
that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't start teaching people things that aren't going to benefit them or help them, or don't create a course, that's some BS. Like really put in the value, the time, the energy, because what'll happen is people will buy it and then they're not going to like it and you're going to get chargebacks and you're going to get kicked off the platform. You're not going to be able to sell. You're not going to make no money. And now you ruined your name and, on
It
and
wasn't
on and
worth
on.
it.
It wasn't worth it. Same thing with YouTube education. So same thing as online courses, but you can do short form videos, you can do long form videos, you can do full on courses, put them on YouTube, potentially get some ad revenue from that, right? The ads that play while your video is running. So there's some potential there. Or you can just flat out sell the course and then make it private and then give out the link to those who purchase that. So that's another good way. Telecoaching, kind of the same thing as the online training, but this way you may be working with an individual versus doing like a full-on like tutoring or a group training. Online podcast network, we're here. So if you're good on the mic, if you got something to say, I don't know about the red pill, pink pill thing that everybody is talking about now. We all kind of feel like everybody needs to get rid of the mics at this point, but I'm not getting rid of mine. So listen, if you have a message and you think that people want to hear your message, then you may want to consider starting a podcast or just starting a channel and seeing where that goes. Technical writing. So you need copywriters to write the marketing messages. You need people who are going to write the instruction manuals for some of the products that need to be assembled or for different things that require in-depth instruction. So technical writing, resume and cover letter writing as well. That is a huge one. Probably you want to look on LinkedIn for your audience if that's something that you're going to do. You check LinkedIn, check Glassdoor, check Indeed, check all these sites where people are looking for jobs. If you are good at resumes and you're good at writing them and you're good at corporate letters, you could do that. You could even probably do, what is it called? Like, okay, I don't know if I should be saying this, but you could probably not only do resume writing if you have the time, you probably could throw in a service where you're offering to apply for the jobs. Now, people would have to trust you, but think about how many people just don't want to do it. Like, I want to hit easy apply on LinkedIn and be done with it. I do not want to hit easy apply and then have to go to the company's website and enter additional information and 10 years of work history. Like, what was the point of the resume? That's a service. Because if I got to go look for another job, that's not what I'm going to want to do. Right? Or if I got to go apply for jobs, I'm not going to want to write my statement of qualifications. I'm not going to want to go write all of these things. I'm over it. But I wouldn't mind giving the information to somebody who could take my experience and write it and write it in such a way that it would put me higher up in the ranking. Now, again, like some of the other things, like the digital courses, if you're going to do this, know what you're doing. You need to understand ATS. You need to understand keywording in resumes. You need to understand how to get people's resumes in front of the decision maker for this job. First of all, pass the computer. So let's
Right.
start there. It needs to get past the computer that they run the resumes through, not real computer, but it needs to get past the ATS
The
tracking.
program.
And then it needs
Hmm.
to get in front of the person, right? If you can do that alone, you're miles ahead as a resume writer, job consultant than 95% of the people out there, right?
Right.
So that might be something you want to look into. Online corporate counseling, we've already kind of talked about. Same thing as small business consulting. Um, Same startup advising, digital marketing. We talked about ebooks, graphic design services. If you're good at graphics, entrepreneurs need graphics. I know how to do graphics. We all kind of do because we had to learn on our own. We came up in a time when, and I can't speak for anybody else, I'm all self-taught. So logos, graphics,
Mhm.
everything, I'm not the best, but I know how to do what I need to do to get the stuff that I
To
need
get
done
what I need.
completed. However, I'm now in a space where I can't do everything. Like, I need a
Right.
podcast producer, I need a website builder, I need a Shopify builder, I need a, you know what I'm saying, a graphic designer to do my flyers. I want somebody else to do this Instagram. Like, I'm in a space in my entrepreneurship now where it can't be all me. Like, my
Right.
growth depends on me having people that can do these services. I need to be able to spread myself out. And the only way I can spread myself out is to have other people who have an expertise in these things. So if you're somebody who's great at graphic design, that's a great business for you because somebody like me, whether I know how to do it or not, needs you. So that's an area, and that's a great way to get to the bag because you can charge for graphic design. Freelance writing, proofreading. Some of these are self-explanatory. If you want me to go into detail, drop a comment. We'll circle back to it. Domain flipping. Listen, this is game. I'm gonna give you game. You can go
Oh, like
to
50.
like how you flip houses for profit, like how you go, you buy a house, you fix it up, you flip it. You can go to like GoDaddy, somewhere like that, buy a domain, right? So part of it, I would recommend you understand a little bit of SEO, but you can go to like GoDaddy and you can find high-ranking keywords, play around with domains that you think, purchase those domains, hold them and let
Hmm.
them gain. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but they gain like you just hold them, right? And you
Yeah,
let
they
them
do have
gain
value,
was like an
and you can
equity,
see the
maybe.
value.
You can see the value, but over time, it's almost like equity, right? Like you let
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
equity build
Yeah.
and build and build and build. And then you can put it on the market, right? Because they have a marketplace. You can put it on the market. So if you've ever gone to a domain and you look for something, such and such.com, right? And then they go, this website is premium and it's worth $15,000. Who do you think is getting that money? It's not GoDaddy. It's the person that
Right.
owns it.
Mhm.
Now, sometimes they might, you know what I mean? Like if it's just one that they're not sell, like that just hasn't been claimed yet. But a lot of times, these are people who have purchased these domains, right? Very, very high ranking keywords. They're holding on to it. It has built equity. People are searching for it. And now some lucky person is going to get that much because somebody purchased this domain. So this is one of those easy ways to six figures. This is one of those,
Hmm.
ain't nobody ever got to see your face. You don't got to be online. You don't got to put on makeup. You don't got to do a video. All you have to understand is how to purchase the right domains. SEO, little bit, right? Keywords. I'm not going to say SEO. Understand keywording, understand what people are searching for, and know how to put it together to get the right domain and then just hold it and then just hold it and you just wait. Subscription box service. Now, I've never really done this, but it's been recommended to me before. Where if you create a lot of products, like if you're a crafter or you sell a lot of t-shirts. So, for instance, if I was going to do Sexy After Kids, I could do a box every month where somebody gets a lip gloss, a t-shirt, a different t-shirt design, a hat, and maybe, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something else that I would do. But put those all in a little cutesy box, right? And they make the orders and then I send them. There's a couple of sites that do this. Can't think of them off the top of my head, but it is a good method. Can probably be costly in the startup phase, just because you need the materials, the box, you need the products to put in there. But If you have a good investor or you have the capital, then a great idea. Um, Not going to get into lead generation. I don't, that's a whole nother episode. Social media influencing, we've all heard of that voiceover business. So if you go to sites like Fiverr, there are people who need voiceovers for their commercials. So if you have a really great voice and you're good at doing commercials, voiceover could be another one. Um, Sound editing, self-publishing. So if you're good at writing books, you might want to self-publish a
Mhm.
book if you've ever considered it. There's ways to do that. We could talk about that in a future episode. Grant writing, public relations, starting a clothing line. We've seen no shortage of those in pandemic. Software testing, setting up a membership site, provided that you have something that you want to sell. Email marketing. This one says crypto. I'm not going there. I I
Mm-mm.
don't I don't have
Mm-mm.
a I'm old. I'm
Mm.
old, y'all. Listen,
These are supposed to be quick hits. That's not a quick hit.
that's not a quick hit. That's not a quick hit. You're gonna waste a lot. You're gonna lose before you gonna win.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. Art consulting, bookkeeping, tax prep business, financial planning, floral arrangement business, virtual planning, online baking, stock photography. So these are all things, and I will create like a guide with all of these in there for you guys, and the link will be down in the description. Um, but there's so many ways. The point of this is that there's so many ways for you to make your money, to start the business. And the purpose of it, even if you never quit your job, it's just ways for you to have a little bit extra. Because as moms, even if your thing isn't, you know, the hair, the nails, the whatever that we talked about earlier, you have kids who want birthday parties. And trust me, I just did one today. I still came out cheaper than what I would have did if I did the party room, but I ain't gonna lie. Like every time I go to plan a party for my kids, it feels like every year it gets more and more expensive. It feels
Ooh.
like I'm paying no shortage of $700 to $800 trying to do a very basic party. Even if you do a party at home, now you're talking space, you're talking food, you're talking. So the purpose of these tips and ideas that we're giving you isn't necessarily because we're saying you need to make six figures. We would love for that to happen. But what the goal is and what we'd like you to do is just get started in a business. Just get started with an idea. Just get started with something that you can grow later on. I don't think any of us, when we jumped into this entrepreneurship lane or when we jumped into um, the businesses that we're in, I don't know that the first thought was, I'm going to be, six figures, full time entrepreneur, blah, blah, blah. I know for me, even when I started Sexy After Kids, it was, I just need to make an extra $500 a month
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
to supplement what my job is not doing, to help me do blah, blah, blah. And then it turned into something else. And so I want to encourage you, if you're out there and you're thinking of starting, if you have this idea, there are no wrong ideas. Don't be afraid to test. Don't be afraid to tweak. Don't be afraid to make changes and shifts as you go along. But don't let those thoughts enter your mind to the point where you're like, oh my God, I'm so scared. I'm not going to do this. Nobody's going to like me. Somebody's always going to like you, right? There's an audience for you. Um,
Mhm.
and just go for it. So, final thoughts. Does anyone have any final thoughts? I know I talked a lot this episode. This is clearly where my passion lies, even though I don't want to do consulting anymore.
I mean, like you said, broke isn't sexy, right? Even if they're scared of entrepreneurship and they're just in a space because inflation is real, and they do need to have some other form of income. Take the information that's being provided to you here, to go after the bag because
100%.
broke is not sexy at all, right?
At all.
And you can't really enjoy your life, and the things in your peace if you are in a financial bind or financial situation because you're focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say find ways to get you that peace, that relief from those financial shackles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's my
That's
final
Um,
thought.
my final thought is there's it's kind of two things. One of them is I want to get rid of the stigma or whatever, where entrepreneurs, or it's the narrative that entrepreneurs look down upon people with regular 9 to 5 jobs.
Mhm.
That is absolutely not the case. You
Mhm.
know, I'm going to say for the vast majority of the people, if not all of the people, even those who frown upon that whole sort of thing, like, oh, you're not an entrepreneur, I guarantee you that they started their entrepreneurship venture off of the money that they made from their
Mhm.
regular job.
100%.
So, that's because that was one thing that it was really hot on the block at one point, where
Mhm.
everyone's like, oh, well, you're not doing this, oh, well,
Out
you're
of
not
your
doing that, oh, well,
boss.
I'm an entrepreneur, and and at the end of the day, take the money that you earn at your 9 to 5 and use that and apply that to your entrepreneurship. You can do them simultaneously, or eventually you may get to a point to where all you want to do is become an entrepreneur. No, don't go quitting your job and say, I'm going to quit on a Thursday because screw that job, I'm going to be an entrepreneur on a Friday. Like, that's not reality. It's just not.
You
you
got a
know
plan, and that's a whole
you
nother conversation.
you do. You
Mhm.
absolutely have to plan. So that right there is really big for me, because I know at one point, there were a lot of people who looked down upon people, or the thing of, well, you're an entrepreneur, so you must be unemployed.
Mhm.
Okay. Again, that's not necessarily always the case. Um, so let's get rid of that. If you need to do multiple things or more than one thing or whatever the case may be, do you. At the end of the day, do you. Don't
Right.
worry about what the next person's doing or what somebody on social media, because social media a lot of times is just nothing but a big front.
Mhm.
Some of it's okay, some of it's true, but the vast majority of it is really kind of not. So do
Yeah,
what
true.
works for you. Um,
100%.
yeah.
I think these are all I love both final thoughts. And I think as the audience, as the people listening, progress in their journey, I think we've given them a lot to consider, a lot to think of in terms of tips, um, a lot of things to look out for. And I would just say to anyone out there again that you have to keep pushing and you have to just go for it. You can't be worried about it. Start with affiliate. Like if I had to think of somewhere to start with affiliate. It's so easy. There's no startup costs, right? It's like Adrienne said, you go to your website or your favorite, whatever, you scroll down, you get a link. Now, you may or may not qualify, but there's so many affiliate opportunities out there. You just keep trying until you find the one that does. And as you begin to build, then other affiliate opportunities will open up to you. But that is
Right.
probably the quickest way to get started without spending a lot of income and investment, right? Because some of these do have startup costs, even if they are digital. So just get started, right? Find that one thing, just get started and keep pushing. And then again, if you have questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, things you want to share, go ahead, drop it in the comments and we'll chime in and we will get back to you. But until then, I'm gonna raise my I didn't ask you guys what you were drinking today. I don't see Lynette with no drink.
Let's see. I got my Texas cup today. Can y'all
Okay,
see
yeah.
it?
Okay, good. I feel like a low-key alcoholic. I don't know what y'all Adrienne might have some in her
Water.
cup. But yeah, Lynette's giving water. Okay. Yeah, no problem. But raise your glass. Cheers to more life, more success, all the good things. And we will see y'all in the next episode.
Cheers.